Hey everyone! It makes me really happy that you're here. So, welcome to my channel. I used to talk only about human design, but I decided to expand and create more topics on psychology and spirituality because that's what I'm passionate about. And that's been helping me, and I want to share that with you. So I decided to make a quick video, or rather a short video, on shadow because I believe that with more awareness, we can not only become conscious creators of our lives, but also more compassionate and loving towards others, and most importantly, ourselves. So, this is how we create a kinder world. It really starts with us, and we have the power to change things. Still navigating this? All right. My name is Barchi. I'm a certified trauma informed coach who is here to inspire, empower, and support everyone who either needs clarity or is stuck on a roadblock or just needs some guidance to where they want to go further in life. And if that resonates with you, and if you want to have a chat with me, I'm inviting you to check my website. So, you might have heard of Carl Jung, a quote that goes, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." So, what that basically means is there are things in our subconscious mind that we aren't aware of. And until we don't have the awareness, we can't really take control over our behavior. So imagine stepping into a dark room. All right. Into a dark room with a flashlight. So anywhere where it's dark, we don't see what's in there. So sooner or later, inevitably, we'll bump into something. And if you bump into something that it's not pleasant, in life, we call that a trigger. And I'm sure you all know that, right? So there is a good chance that we would react rather than respond. And yeah, I'm just curious if you can relate to that, to reacting to life rather than responding to life. So I would like to believe that, I like to believe that everything that's going on around us in our life is just showing us what is or isn't important and in alignment with our true nature. Because some things make us feel really good, like really fantastic, and other things not as much. And I know how sometimes, I sometimes say, well, why is this happening to me? And but in reality, it's happening for me, and I know that if we've heard that probably a million times, and maybe that's someone is really upset about just hearing that. When we are in distress, it's not really helping. But after, I would say, after we cool down and can have a little retrospection, I honestly believe that the universe isn't mean and really doesn't want us to suffer. No way. I just don't believe that. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So, my theory is if love is the driving force of everything, this just means that there are parts in us that haven't been touched by love for a long time. Parts that have been ostracized, abandoned, ridiculed. These parts are our shadow, and all our shadow needs is actually our love. Okay. So, maybe by now you might be wondering, um, how this shadow ended up in our subconscious mind? Like, why is it there? And to answer that, you know, I was listening to a psychologist, and I think she was also a therapist, Connie Zweig, and I'm sure I'm butchering her last name. I'm so sorry, but I'll link her work below, especially her book, which is called Meeting the Shadow: The Power of the Dark Side of Human Nature. And she talks about how when we were born, to about the age of 2, we radiate love like 360 degrees, And then what inevitably happens is we trade, certain parts of us start being rejected by our parents, our caregivers, and or the environment that we live in, right? And um, we trade those parts of ourselves for love, safety, and acceptance. So, in order to feel loved, we had to suppress or deny certain parts which weren't acceptable. And this is how shadow appeared. And just knowing that, so basically, in order to survive, we disconnected with our shadow self. And, just knowing that, don't you have the impulse of being kinder or more loving towards yourself? Yeah, I find it quite touching. So I'm really curious what your take is on that. Please do share in the comments. I would like to hear your story. Okay. So, how do you know that something might be part of our shadow? It's actually very simple, which doesn't mean easy. So, everything we judge, deny, feel ashamed of, or hide is most likely our shadow aspect. And again, this author and therapist, Connie Zweig, says that denial is the first response because shadow's nature is to hide outside of conscious awareness, which makes sense because we are just trying to avoid abandonment and shame. So basically, we're trying to be safe. And oops, I'm getting ahead of myself. And psychiatrist D.R.D. Lang describe the mind's denial reflex with these words: the range of what we think and do is limited by what we fail to notice. And because we fail to notice that we daily uh, to notice, that's weird. There is little we can do to change until we notice how failing to notice shape our thoughts and deeds. I'll probably write it in the comments because I think I messed up a little bit, but it's a really nice one. So if you want to put this to a test, go through a day and just see what comes up for you, and see if you can spot any judgment or resistance, and pay attention and just observe without any judgment. This is really important, and I'll share that in a moment why. But try to be curious because you're just exploring. And like, if someone would approach you with being judgmental, I would imagine that your first reaction would be trying to hide. But if someone would approach you with love and kindness, I'm sure you would open up more. So imagine that you're also approaching your part of yourself with that curiosity, compassion, and love and kindness. I hope this makes sense. Okay, let's go further. Um, I think we already. Oh, why am I going back? No, all right. The gifts of shadow. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. Um, Imagine that you could be fully authentic. What a ball of light you would be. What, like, that doesn't mean you would share and do everything that's on your mind, but just allowing yourself to be whatever, and feel whatever you feel. And I'm sure that would also include hidden gifts. Let's just see. There you go. You see, it's really worth exploring our shadow because this is where we can find our gifts, talents, and desires which were sacrificed to fit into society. And there is more from this book, Meeting the Shadow, that I mentioned earlier. And it says basically, a right relationship with the shadow offers us a great gift um, to lead us back to our buried potentials. And that's so important. Like, just imagine that. A right relationship with the shadow offers us a great gift to lead us back to our buried potentials. And here we have, when we develop a creative relationship with the shadow, we can achieve more genuine self acceptance based on a more complete knowledge of who we are, diffuse the negative emotions that erupt unexpectedly in our daily lives. So that's a big one. Feel more free of the guilt. I'm sorry for this typo, and shame associated with our negative feelings and actions. Recognize the projections that color our opinions of others. Heal our relationship through more honest self examination and direct communication. And use the creative imagination via dreams, drawing, writing, and rituals to own the disowned self. And what is also important to know, um, you know, even though we are not responsible for the way we are and feel, we have, it's more like the way we think and feel. We have to take responsibility for the way we act. And I really, really want to emphasize the first part, which is I'll talk about in a bit, but whatever you think and feel, it's okay. It's valid. Um, and allow yourself that. Because if you don't, you're just contributing more to the shadow, and that will make it stronger, having a greater grip on us. Like Edward C. Whitmount said, when we reject ourselves or don't want to meet our shadow, we push it back to unconscious, where it exerts its power in a negative, compulsive, and projected form. So I feel this one is really important. And I know a lot of us, when we have something, when we think about something that we label bad, and let's just remove all the labels, then we think, oh, then we start maybe judging ourselves and all of that. But these are just thoughts. And, whatever comes up, it's okay. It's really important that we just, that we firstly don't take it as seriously and that we just allow it to come up, because that can also tell us something about us. All right, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go forward. So, how to work with the shadow? All right. Let me start with this beautiful poem by Rumi. I said, What about my eyes? He said, keep them on the road. I said, what about my passion? He said, keep it burning. I said, what about my heart? He said, tell me what you hold inside it. I said, pain and sorrow. He said, stay with it. The wound is the place where the light enters you. I just love this one. It's so beautiful, isn't it? Okay. All right. So, to do any type of shadow work, we really need to do light work, meaning having resources that help us see our light and not identify with our feelings or thoughts if they are disturbing in any way. It's really important that we are not in pursuit of, oh, let's just dig out everything that is dark. It doesn't work this way. It's really important that we see ourselves as whole, that we see that we have the light side, we have everything, so that we don't just laser focus on what we either need to fix or heal, because that's not the point. The point is to accept and then transform what is there to transform. All right, so as I said, it's important to not identify ourselves with any guilt, any quality, so-called good or bad, as I mentioned, and that is really just duality. And let's just steer away from it because it just doesn't make our life any easier. So let's start with the tools. And the first one is mindfulness. And this can be in the form of meditating, movement, prayer, yoga, whatever feels right for you. And if you can do just one thing for yourself, that is, don't label or judge anything that comes up for you in terms of thoughts and emotions, especially the latter. And I know that I'm repeating myself, I am fully aware of that, but it's really, really, really important. So, whatever emotions come up, acknowledge them. You don't need to act on them or understand, without, or understand them, because, sometimes you do, but not always. So if all you do is just sit with them, with whatever comes up for you, without judgment, you will cultivate self acceptance, compassion, and self love. And that's huge. That alone is powerful beyond measure. And I'll also link a video below that I found recently, and watch it. It offers a really great tool to work with a shadow. And the title is, and I'll link it down below. The title is Shadow Work Exercise to Release Emotional Blocks. I really like it. Okay, and if you do try it out, let me know how it works for you. Okay, so the second thing is somatic work. So because our shadow isn't just part of our mind. Sometimes we're like, well, everything is here, but it's also in our body. And here comes somatic therapy in play, which I won't go there because I'm not a practitioner. But think of it this way, your body is your vessel. It holds all these different emotions in different parts of your body. And for example, just think about maybe joy, and just where do you usually feel joy, or do you even sense that, or where do you feel anger or fear and all of that. So it's interesting to explore. And what I found is a really nice exercise that I'm also going to link below. It's expression of shadow through dance, and it's really simple. I think it's kind of roughly around 10 minutes, and I love it. I so enjoy it. And let me know if you watch it. I would really like to see if it works for you, as if you like it as much as I do. And it's called Shadow Work Guided Movements Exercise. release blockages and feel whole again. I really like this one. Okay. And because our shadow, oh yeah, sorry, inner child work. Yeah, I'm just kind of all over the place. Okay, I would suggest doing some inner child work, and preferably with a therapist, because it's really really helpful, also for your well-being, to get a professional help and from someone that you can trust. And I personally love IFS therapy, which is called internal family systems. For me, it's been really helpful and it changed a lot. Like I had some really big breakthrough with that particular therapy. And you know, it's I believe it's important that we ask for help if we want to dig deeper, because I don't believe that we were meant to do this thing called life by ourselves. So yeah. Um. All right. There you go. That's super super important. Just the final note. And let's make the unconscious conscious and unacceptable acceptable. That's so 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 important. All right. I'm sending you all my love. Know that you are powerful beyond the measure, and love yourself as you are right now, because you are whole. And thank you so much for watching, and like it, like and or subscribe if you feel called to. And see you next time. Bye bye.